Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Neo from the Bible Talk Podcast. Alongside me is Mark 70, the collector man of pop figures and other figures of the world. You feel me? All right. So, in this horror segment of October, we are talking about the movie The 7th Day, which is a very weird movie. So you should watch it because I know what the hell is going on. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got confused with all the characters. I was like, I don't know who this man is, but I think he's important. So let's get into it. All right, Mark
All
70,
right.
what did you think of this movie?
Cool. So before we get into the spoiler part, it was weird. It was a very weird story. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely a new take on the Exorcist story, I suppose. It's kind of like a modern take on an exorcism story. And our main characters, they're okay. They're not the best, and it's kind of predictable, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
it's not very scary. So it is kind of like an intro to horror movie. If you don't want to get into something really deep, like for example the original Exorcist, that movie's scary as hell. Compared to this one's a lot more tame, and it's probably why it didn't do so well. But it's it's watchable for like a Halloween party sort of thing, something you want to play in the background. It definitely works. But like to like actually like take your time and sit down and enjoy it, it's you're gonna have some trouble with it.
Yeah, it was an odd movie, and as I was watching, I was like, okay, this guy doing some. It reminded me of like two of one. I think the movie Constantine. I think it's something like that. Start with a C or whatever. Um,
Okay.
with I think Keanu Reeves was in it. I think he
The one
played
and
the
only. Yep.
yeah, and then it also reminded me of Supernatural, but like a very low budget version of it. At one point in the beginning of like at one point they did like an episode similar to that. I felt like it was just like
Mm-hmm.
they remade that episode but just longer, and then they cut all the good stuff out. That's what it
Wow.
was.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, it's not terrible, but it's not. I wouldn't. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide that. Okay, comment down below after you watch the movie if you liked it or if you hate it. If you want to see more movies like this, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, do what you got to do. You feel me? All right. So during this movie, my man. So we have
Spoiler time. Let's
spoiler
get into
time.
it.
Spoiler time. All right. So we have the main character who started the movie. It's like he have his mentor, his priest, and then he's like an apprentice or whatever, watching it all go down. And you see the guy doing the exorcism, and you just look. It to me, it was so dumb because it didn't seem real. I was like, I don't know what you're doing, but this is not how you exercise somebody. Okay, you need to go watch Stranger Things and Supernatural, and then come back. Okay, that's what you need to do because it doesn't make sense. And I guess the apprentice or the mentor was in, one of them was lying throughout the whole movie, right?
All
And
right.
in the beginning of the movie, I couldn't tell which one was, and I was very confused. But then when his mentor died, oh Lord, spoiler, his mentor died, right? And he goes and started teaching other people or mentoring other people, his apprentice, right? But it didn't make sense because why would it was like reversed or whatever? You get what I'm saying? It didn't make sense. It was very awkward.
Right.
It was a very awkward
So let's go
stage.
ahead and clarify the plot real quick, so we can go
Yeah.
ahead and get that out of the way. So at the very beginning, like you mentioned, we get started off with two priests, and to make things worse, our main priest, or for the first few seconds, our main priest is Keith David, the voice of Spawn. Like, okay, I started watching the movie. I'm like, all right, we got Keith David. I hear Spawn. He's about to send some demons to hell. No, they just within like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I'm just like, we just lost Keith David. I guess Netflix couldn't afford to keep him on for that long. Anyways, so we end up following the apprentice that was with him, who's no longer with him. But I was surprised to find out it was played by Guy Pearce. You know, that's a pretty big name actor. So Memento and all that stuff. Guy Pearce, I like Guy Pearce as an actor. You know, he does a good job. We end up following him. He's like an apprentice of Keith Richards' exorcist priest, who witnesses him get killed. And after that, he's just kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna avenge my master, or so.
Trying to be.
Then we move on to I guess like 20 years later, 15 years later, whatever. When he's a seasoned priest or seasoned exorcist, he goes back to the Vatican, and our Archbishop is played by Stephen Lang, the quiet, the don't breathe man.
Yeah.
You know, the blind guy.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite movies. Don't Breathe. The first one. The second one's kind of awkward.
I was like, what? That bad guy from that movie is the Archbishop in this movie, which is just like, yo, they got some pretty decent scare actors here. You know, actors from other scary movies are in this movie, but I guess they just didn't know how to use them. I don't know what the Netflix team did to get these people, but they just didn't use them properly, honestly.
Yeah. And
it honestly felt like a cop movie. It didn't feel like an exorcism movie. It felt like these guys were cops the whole time. Like the what is it? The rookie cop and the seasoned cop is just like, this is all you do this. I don't want to do it anymore. You do this. It's all you. And the new guy is just like, you're not going to show me how to do anything. You're not going to help me.
No.
You're not even going to come with me. I don't know. The whole time. Another big one that's kind of interesting is what do you call it? The main character, Father Daniel, was played by I guess it's Vadir Derbez, who's a Mexican actor. He's like son of a legendary Mexican actor, well, really famous Mexican actor Eugenio Derbez. So that was like, oh, I guess that's cool. You know, if you know him, you kind of follow that around. So it's for like, you know, Mexicans who follow like Mexican actors who are slowly transitioning into U.S. acting and whatnot. So I thought that was kind of cool, but he didn't play the character that well, honestly. He felt kind of like the whole time like his transformation wasn't earned. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like the character grew properly. It just kind of looked like that Star Wars moment where he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden I know what I'm doing. Like, what? How did you get OP so quickly? What happened? Like, when did you do this? I mean, I get it. They like, okay, so this universe alone had anime quality potential. Like, while I was watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, yo, this universe has some nice groundwork, all right? This universe looks like it could be good, because we actually see exorcists, you know, traveling, I guess it's L.A. I don't remember where it took place. Was it L.A.? Do you remember? It was like L.A. or... I don't remember. I don't even think they said the name of the city, but they were out and about. They took it from one house to, like, the city, right?
Yeah.
Instead of it being, like, The Exorcist, which mostly takes place in, like, one house and, like, a courtroom and whatnot.
Yeah, but it was,
that might be a different one.
It's so weird because they made it seem like the demon that was possessing the young boy in the beginning of the movie jumps around, right? Like if you watch Supernatural, you will know that one of the main characters' girlfriend died, right? Because she was possessed, and his mother, and then long before his mother got possessed, died due to a demon possession, right? Then his girlfriend, right? So it's the same demon going throughout, jumping. So that's what I thought, right? But in this movie, it was more like wherever this seasoned priest, right? I think his name was Jack. It'll start with a J or something like that. We're gonna call him Jack.
Was Father Peter and Father Daniel.
Yeah,
Daniel being a rookie,
so Peter,
and
right?
Peter being Pierce, the seasoned,
so
expert.
I don't know where I get Jack from. I don't know. My brain. See, I can't remember the character's name.
The young version of that priest looked like what's his name? When the young version of him at the very beginning, he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio from from Titanic. I was watching him when he just had glasses on. They just took that character, put glasses on him, and you a priest now.
There you go. But so look. So Peter, right? I think wherever Peter went, right, he's able to put possess somebody from a distance, right? So, cause he gave Danny Boy, right, the this piece of
Right.
paper, and he said the name, and then the woman, cause they went to like a homeless facility or whatever, homeless area, and this lady was giving out food
Right. They
and
went to
stuff.
like a bridge that was
Yeah.
housing homeless people or something.
But you know, he said this one line in the movie. He said that demons or ghosts or spirits always disguise themselves to something that you wouldn't think who they are or something like that. So you think if they bad,
Right.
they probably possess, or you know, you won't think about it. So I think somehow that Peter in the beginning of the movie was also a possessed spirit or whatever. So he put that possessed spirit into, or some of his power into that young boy, and as you like throwing off that the prayer and whatnot, it's like it's killing that person. It's not helping it. I think they doing it the wrong way or something. And down the road, he's like, "Here, say this name," and he says it, and then the girl acting crazy, right? I think he just able just to put possessed spirits in anybody or whatever, and make you believe that you're doing the right thing, so you can find a new. I guess they trying to find a new host or whatever, or someone that's strong enough that wouldn't get burned or whatever that they was doing. But it was creepy.
Right. There was so much
so
that
weird.
they like set. They had like anime potential at the very beginning, where like they have like Exorcist School, which I thought was cool, and then they tell us that it's just 2 weeks of Exorcist School, and I was just like, oh, okay, well that's useless. It's just basically like you go online, you get your online certificate to become an exorcist. Oh, cool, I'm an exorcist now, you know. And then 2, spoiler alert, our seasoned father Peter is actually a demon from the get-go, who is training, I guess, exorcists to, instead of exorcising demons, release demons. Because he talks about like building an army, which again, anime potential, right?
Yeah.
So he teaches him how to find demons, because obviously he's a demon. He can do it no problem.
Yeah.
But as a human, I guess he's looking for people who have the abilities to detect demon presence, right? Because they can obviously handle a demon, because they have special abilities, right?
Yeah.
So he takes, at least it's from what it seems like, they don't use this in any way. They just kind of abandon it, like towards like the last 20 minutes of the movie or something, because the movie is really weird. We start off searching demons with the new guy. He's teaching him to find demons, and then he teaches him how to, exorcise a demon, because his 2-week training is not going to show him how to do anything. And like you mentioned, they go to, and you know what? This is where it kind of reminds me of like a cop thing, because like that one dude, the one black guy who's homeless, chilling by the fire, or he's I don't know what he's saying. I think he's like praying or something, and he says hell like out loud, and then a rookie cop, all of a sudden, that's the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, exorcist racial profile. And I was just like, seriously? That's all you needed?
You know what? I don't think it was that. And I'm gonna tell you why.
It kind of felt that way to me, because like the other guy just shows up and he just says, "Say this name," and then the demon shows up and the lady's like, "You got to leave that guy alone." And he says the name, and then all of a sudden she's the demon. You know?
No, like, I think it was
I get
weird.
It that you gotta look carefully, but like the way he was looking, he was just kind of like, "I'm gonna find one person who's alone." Oh, he said hell. That's the guy. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I think just the way Hattie had it set up was that this guy is all the way in the back, away from everybody, with fire in front of him, and he's like twitching and he's saying random things or whatever. So so to them, like, okay, he might be possessed or he might got something going on. Let me check it out. It's the lady where it was so crazy because he was like, so before they went in, right? Like I stated before, like you gotta be more open minded. They might not seem who you think they are. So he was like, "This your call, man. This your call. You think it is? Then do your thing, right?" And then the guy stand up and like, "Get away from me!" And then lady comes out of nowhere talking about leave that man alone or whatever. And then he's like, "Here, just say his name real quick, right? This will fix everything." Then lady acting crazy. But overall, they both didn't know what they were doing because clearly they just dumb. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's just so dumb. It was so they did not put it. I feel like they set up too much stuff to just let go towards the end. It's like, okay, we got this priest, we got Peter, he's learning. Then we got Peter and Danny, and then we got all of Danny like not Peter associates that he previous mentor and whatever. But before Danny went in to exercise the boy, he had made a phone call and he was like, "Yes, Danny, you're almost there. You're almost part of the team."
Right.
And I was like, "What does that even mean?" And I thought, Dane Peter boy is the Dane demon ringleader or whatever. Because it didn't make no sense. Why would you say that? How would you know what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
And we didn't even mention that. So what do you call it? Like the whole objective for these priests is to like exorcise the demon in this kid who killed his parents and killed a few people. Like as soon as so this kid's possessed. Obviously, he kills his parents, and then he gets like on a rampage, kills a few more people, and they're holding him in a psych ward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now our priests are trying to exorcise the demon, or so. Before they send him to trial or send him to a mental facility where they can't get to him anymore, and he's screwed. He's going to be a demon, and he's probably going to infect all those mentally unstable people, which apparently demons can smell. If they say something like that in the movie, that like demons can find instability in people. And I do like the story of the victim, right? Is Charlie, the kid James Charlie. I do like his story. So like they show a little bit, and like through the way they tell the victim's story, they show how he was possessed. All right, they show that his parents were abusive, both his parents. His sister sucked. A simple way to put it. They literally just moved houses, and he lost some of his friends or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going through so much stress. He's basically going through teenage hell, right?
Yeah.
And then to make things worse, they bring in a priest to help him out, and it's the special boy priest who unfortunately insinuates that this priest was not very kind to our Charlie boy, unfortunately. So now he's vulnerable. At one point, they mentioned he picks up a Ouija board and he gets possessed at that moment.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? Just because he's hanging out with his shady friends, which his mom didn't like, and that's kind of where it all leads to, our final act. Once the priests find out how Charlie got possessed, they finally catch up to him at the psych ward, and they see him a couple times. What's funny is like while they're in the psych ward at this second time, that's kind of when like they finally start to reveal that our other pastor or our other father is kind of the bad guy, because Charlie has visions when the demon comes to visit him of a man that comes to at night, and when he finally sees the other priest, he's all like, "That's the man who comes to me," and I was just like, "What?"
He said
Why?
that? I missed all that.
Yeah.
All I remember is that he said, "Oh, he's a tall man and he have a beard," and that's all I remember. And then the man went off.
He doesn't say it there. So like at that moment, this is when we finally get our first like actual like in story kills, right? Where his demon is like breaking out and he's killing like guards and stuff left and right.
Yeah.
And then the Father Daniel catches up to Charlie and tells him, "I'm going to help you. I'm here for you. You can trust me. I'm the good guy." And he does trust him. And you can kind of tell that they do kind of share like a small connection of like, I can trust you and you can trust me. But then like at the end of the hall, Father Peter's just kind of standing there, and that's when he's all like, "Yo, that's the guy." When he realizes who he's pointing at, that's when he starts to get suspicious. And this is like the weird part for him too, because like he gains suspicion and he's just kind of like, "That can't be." Then his second confirmation of suspicion is when when he calls the previous apprentice, right? He calls his previous Padawan, and that's when he tells him, "No, you're good. He's good. You're gonna join us." And that's when he's all like, "Join what?" That's when he starts to kind of like click that is like, "Oh, this guy's a bad guy," which is weird too, because we saw he had trouble exercising like a regular demon on the street. And then he has trouble exercising the demon out of the kid. and all of a sudden he can exorcise the demon out of, you know, Father Peter. Father Peter's been a demon for like, you know, years at this point. How did he get the strength to just exercise him like that? That was just kind of like,
For all we know, we don't know how old Father Peter is. You know,
we do, because remember, he's the priest who was with Keith David.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying is, what if the Vatican, right, is all in on it, right? In the headmaster, not the headmaster, but the guy that's at the church don't know.
The Archbishop.
Right, the Archbishop don't know. And he's like, oh yeah, he's good. This is what happened or whatever. But for all we know, he could be on it too. And he can be a lot older than what he seemed to be. You know? If he possessed by a demon or have demon-related powers.
They teased that a little bit too. Like, how deep does this corruption go? Like, did the secretary know when she gave him her nephew's number or whatever he was to her?
I don't think so. Because I feel like she would enforce it.
A demon guy as well or something?
You know what? I think certain people know. When he had the
files at the end too, they set up like a sequel, you know, where he gave him like a hit list of like, yo, this was all Peter's apprentices.
But what
are you going to take care of them by yourself? And he's like, yeah, I got this.
But you know what's crazy? Okay. Toward the end, because this is where we're coming toward the end, full wrap of the movie, okay? Toward the end of the movie, right? He's like as you said, like, okay, sitting in the chair, he's looking at these names, getting in the car, looking at the names again. Like, I'm going to go find these people. But what you about to do? Like, you about to kill these people? You about to exercise them? What if more than one of them there by themselves, you know? So what you gonna do? You about to die. You about to die.
Yeah, like you're telling me you got 2 weeks of online schooling and 1 day of practical experience, and you're ready to go take on the army that this guy was building? Like, what?
He's like, I got to do what's right. No. But you know, he didn't have that many papers in his hand. I think he had less than 10 pieces of paper with files.
Yeah, he had like a small stack of like personnel records. I guess either way.
Maybe it's like a recent thing. Like they just now starting this thing. So he probably could do it if he can knock out one by one. But in my mind, are you going to exercise these people or are you going to kill these people with the cross of God? Right. Because that's what you did to Peter.
It kind of seems like so far the only 2 exorcisms we've seen end up in somebody dying and the victim also being killed. Well, he did save Charlie, so I guess he's got 1 win on his belt,
but right? I think the only reason why he saved Charlie is by killing Peter.
Right, yeah, because Peter was the demon trying to possess Charlie.
So if these other apprentices are infected with the demon, who he have to kill to get rid of that demon?
Right.
Or do they just have to kill? Like, I feel like, okay, if Danny goes find a new priest and be like, hey, woo, what's up? How's it going? Do you have anybody that you having difficult with, right? And then he finds that person and he kill him. Does that show like, okay, he got rid of that demon? Or is it a coincidence? You know? So what's the real, like, I don't understand. Like, they didn't really explain themselves well through the movie. Like, I don't know.
No.
I don't know what they want.
Much build up. There was some kind of setup. It just, you know why it's so hard to remember? Is because we never see it. Like, at the very beginning, when we see our character, Daniel, talking to the Archbishop, he explains everything, you know, and like he's talking for like a good, maybe I want to say like 8 minutes or something. He gives him like this long speech of like exorcisms coming, needing all over the place, demons popping up all over the place, and again that anime setup we get at the beginning where it's just like, yo, we're about to go to war, and then there's little sprinkles of like we're building an army, and then little sprinkles of like you're gonna join our army and we're stronger, and none of that gets like, you know, brought back up. It's just kind of like we go from like we're gonna fight a lot to just Charlie to a lot more again. So it's like these guys just build, tumble, build up, and tumble again, which is kind of weird. Again, there was a lot of potential and they had a great cast for it. It's just they didn't do anything with it. So again, I mean we're talking about it. We got ideas. You know, we can build on it using our own imagination, so it's worth a watch.
We're gonna come up with our movie. It's gonna call it The Eighth Day. Cause the 7 days that they had to prepare didn't work. They needed an extra day. So
the unofficial sequel where we get to see the anime story
there we go.
extended expansion. Father Daniel is killed off screen, and we continue on the story.
There we go. All right, you guys, let us know what you think of this movie. If you go check it out, it's on Netflix, so you should be able to go see it. Let us know what you think about the movie, what you didn't like, what you did like, what other movies you want to see us cover on this channel, what are TV shows, what are the topics. It can be horror, anime, Marvel, DC, whatever, Star Wars, whatever you like, we will talk about it. Also, if you want to see us do a reaction to the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that's coming out, let us know. We're probably going to do it anyway, so it don't even matter. You're going to watch it. You're going to love it. You're going to, like, share, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms. This has been Neo. That's been Mark 70. Peace out. Until next time.